If you don't pay off 100% of your credit card, it's not going to hurt you as long as you're making the minimum payments. I highly recommend only spend money that you have physically in your bank account. If that's a habit and you only follow that rule, you'll never go into debt and you'll never miss a payment, because if you only have $40 in your bank account, you only spend $40 on your credit card, there's no way you're not gonna be able to pay off the $40, right?
Yeah. When we talk about mastering your credit, so how many credit cards do you have right there? These are your personal
Like
ones.
60 in hand, right? 50 in hand right here.
50 here. How many do you have total?
220 credit cards.
You have 220 credit cards, and how much credit line do you have open?
$3 million of credit line.
3 million in credit open. How many credit reward points do you have?
20 million.
20 million credit reward points. And you flew here, what, on a private jet?
Flew on a private jet.
How old are you?
I'm 20.
20 years old, private jet. He came here, staying at, what hotel are you staying at? What?
I'm staying at Ritz-Carlton tonight.
Ritz-Carlton tonight, all free. Pay attention to what we're gonna share with you, because we're gonna be laying out how Stephen basically went from 0 to 20 million reward points and 3 million credit line. So, and we're talking about how to repair your credit if that's an issue. So let's jump into this. I'm gonna draw out what you're teaching, and then you would kind of explain it. By the way, we're gonna put a link later. I've created a mastermind mentorship. If you wanna learn how to do this for yourself, what have you been doing the last few hours?
Just recording nonstop.
Recording nonstop. A year, by the way, did you start out with good credit?
No, I just
1 year ago, how many credit cards did you have?
0.
What was your credit score?
600. Like,
600. And how much did you have? 3 million and 23 million in credit?
Yeah.
I mean, 23 million in rewards.
20 million in rewards.
Now, what'd you have before, a year ago?
0.
Zero.
Start out with 0. Nothing.
So if you want to learn how to do this, I'm opening up a private mentorship later, but I'm going to give you guys a whole bunch of free education here. And then for those of you who are super, super interested in learning the full system, which we don't have time to do on a live call like this, because we'd be here for like 10 hours basically. But I'll put a link later. It's might even be in the title. Okay, so this is what you've been teaching. Here's you, imagine yourself there. And there's 4 pillars that you have to stand on. Okay, what's the first one?
All right, you have to have good credit.
So we gotta talk about your credit score. If you have issues, how to fix it. If you don't have great credit, how to, build credit. Because some of you don't have bad credit or good credit, you just have no credit. And so that's what you were, right?
Yep.
You just had
No
basically
credit,
no
nothing.
credit. Okay, number 2, what's the next thing, people?
All right, we're gonna get as much credit as possible, like credit, max credit line.
So credit lines, you need to open credit lines. He's got 3 million open. You need that basically because then you can use the cards to actually fund a business, or, you can use them, pay them off, build points. Okay. Number 3 pillar is what?
Free travel.
Free travel.
That's my favorite one.
That's your favorite? How much have you traveled in the last year?
I kind of did the math the other day. I've been on like 180 planes the last like
Staying a little bit closer.
8
so you-
months. Last 8 months. 180 planes.
180 planes, some of them private, some you're flying commercial. Do you usually go first class?
Always first class.
Always first class.
I'll purposely not take a flight if like first class is sold out, which is a bad habit to get.
And
in.
what hotels have you stayed at? Name some of them.
Ritz-Carlton, Four Seasons, like the Hyatt, like I don't even know all the names. Like there's like the Waldorf Astoria.
Oh, you stayed at Waldorf Astoria?
Yeah, I stayed at one here in Beverly Hills.
Yeah, there's a nice one.
That is a nice one.
Okay, and what's the 4th thing people are gonna learn? That we're giving you a preview of our credit mentorship mastermind. We created one that's private, but I'm giving you guys as much free info as we can do right now. What's the 4th thing?
Cash back. How to get cash back.
Cash back. Show them those cash back cards. Where'd you put those?
Cash back cards?
Or the no, these are the
are
actual
gift cards.
gift cards. How much is on these gift cards?
20,000 right there in your hand.
20,000 in gift cards. What are you using these for?
That's a secret. We can't tell that yet.
Okay, we won't tell you everything about it. But that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Let's break these down and I want to give you guys as much info as we can. We'll be here for about 45 minutes 'cause I got to head to a movie. Let's just go as much practical stuff as we can give somebody right now on these four. Let's give one powerful tip on improving and fixing credit score. Fixing. All right, oops. There we go. Okay. Let's start with that. So you might be watching and already have credit. Or, you might be somebody that's watching here and has bad credit, or a few of you will have good credit. What's your credit at right now?
I'm at 770.
770 from what? What'd you start at, about 600?
580 actually.
580 to 770, okay. So let's talk about your credit score. What do people need to know?
So you need to have at least one credit card to even like be existent in the credit world, right? If you don't even have one credit card yet, then like you're non-existent. Right?
So you need to start with at least one card, okay? What if somebody already has a card?
If you already have a card, then it's establishing more relationships with more banks, right? Because there's more than just one bank.
Okay.
So if you only have one credit card, you obviously only have one relationship.
These are
with
your
one bank.
60 cards here.
Right.
You got an Amex Black too?
Yeah, I do.
He keeps the black card over here. 20 years old. What'd you drop out of? You dropped out of Stanford?
Dropped out of Stanford.
Dropped out of Stanford to figure out the credit game. Man, you got a lot of cards here. And I can vouch, these have his name on them.
Yeah, here, look at this
We'll
one.
cover up the number in case that's his black card, Amex Black. 1 year ago, he didn't have any card.
Yep, this is my favorite. Honestly, the rewards on this isn't good. It's just heavy.
Make sure you talk a little bit louder.
Look at this.
People can't.
Heaviest credit card in the world.
Which one's that one?
Ritz-Carlton.
Oh, the Ritz-Carlton.
If you drop that, you'll hear it. Throw it across the
This is a weapon. If you're a ninja, someone walks in, you throw this across, hits him in the throat, and you survive the attack. Okay, so let's just go. Let's talk about somebody who has some dings on their credit. What was that website you were talking about?
That's cfpb.gov. Stands for Consumer Finance Protection Bureau.
So you want to know about, what do people do here with this website?
So when you go to that website, you can file a dispute, and what happens is that they regulate like every creditor when you're on that site. So basically, the high level is that the company's have 14 days to respond to your dispute, right? If they don't respond within 14 days, they get heavily fined.
Come in, he's not totally, so let me put an X down. That'll be your spot right there on that yellow. Yeah, there you go.
I'm Lopez?
Yeah, you're me right now. Yeah.
All right.
So they file a dispute. So if you have something on your credit, what if somebody, just forgot to pay something? You can still file a dispute?
Yep.
Okay.
CFPB, and usually like they're more forgiving if you only have if you've missed one payment, that's like nothing. Like they'll usually forgive that as a good.
So what happens when you file it here? Do they go back to the credit bureaus and remove it?
So they go back to the credit bureaus and they just act as like a mediator, right? They'll set up the conversation, and so usually it's kind of hard to get in contact with the credit card companies. They force them to talk to you. And they don't have, time is money. They don't have time to pay every lawyer and pay everybody to go talk to you. So usually, if it's not something major, they'll just forgive it and
So you've been able to help people.
Yep.
And in the program, you're gonna be learning some real life examples. Let's talk about this. So remember this website. Next thing, stay on this little mark here, so at least one. Okay, what's the best first credit card? We'll talk about for beginners and advanced. What's the best first credit card for somebody?
So the best first credit card, if you're a student, I would go with the Discover It student card.
Discover It.
Yep.
Okay. What if somebody already has a few credit cards?
If you already have a few credit cards, so there's this thing called Chase 5 and 24. And basically, it's a rule that Chase implements that if you have applied and gotten approved for more than 5 cards in the past 24 months, you won't be able to get certain Chase cards.
Okay.
And those certain Chase cards are high value.
So you want to get those first.
You want to get those first because
if you didn't know this, you're going to go out there and get the wrong cards in the wrong order.
Yep.
So what's a card? Let's just give so this is for a beginner.
Right.
Discover It, especially a student.
Yep.
Okay, what if you're intermediate level?
If you're intermediate, I would prioritize Chase 5 and 24, which is so for example, Chase Freedom. That's a 5% cashback credit card that rotates every quarter depending on the categories.
Chase Freedom with 5% money back.
Yep.
We'll call that MB. If somebody's advanced, what card should they get?
So if you're advanced, then you're more comfortable with higher annual fees. I would go with the Chase Sapphire Reserve. That's my favorite card.
So your favorite card is the Chase Sapphire Reserve. Okay. So there's 3 cards. Now, what's other ways to build credit? But so you get these. How much should you pay off on your credit card? Do you need to pay off 100% of your credit card?
So if you don't pay off 100% of your credit card, it's not going to hurt you as long as you're making the minimum payments, right? So you have like a $38 minimum payment. I highly recommend like make this like a law in your brain. Only spend money that you have physically in your bank account, right?
Okay.
If you spend it, like if that's a habit and you only follow that rule, you'll never go into debt and you'll never miss a payment, because if you only have $40 in your bank account, you only spend $40 on your credit card, there's no way you're not going to be able to pay off the $40, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you're spending like, oh, cool, I have a $4,000 credit line, I have like $30 in my bank account, oh, I have $4,000 to blow, then like you're screwing yourself over.
Right. Remember, this is about the long game. If you do this wrong, you're going to get, you're going to basically get a $4,000 credit line. You're going to rack it up. You're not going to pay it off, and you're going to kill your chances of ever getting 40,000. The goal is you got to play the long game. That's what we're going to be teaching. That's what we're teaching now. So if somebody, let's say somebody gets $1,000, or let's just say $4,000 credit line, and they have the money to pay it off.
Yep.
Should you pay it all off down to zero?
Yeah, I would suggest it, because so like what happens is at the end of your month, right?
Yep.
A statement comes and it gets reported to your bureau. So let's say you have like, I don't know, you spent $3,800 this month.
Yep.
What you want to do is you don't want to like carry that balance, because your utilization ratio is pretty like damn high. Like with 3,800, your utilization ratio should ideally be under 10%.
Yeah.
So like in terms of more easy numbers, if your line was 1,000 and you're spending $100 like at your statement, you're doing 10%, which is pretty
Yes.
good. Now, if you're doing $900 out of your 1,000, you're doing 90%. That's going to ding your credit report. That's actually going to hurt your score, and that's a high impact factor. That's the same level as missing a payment.
Yeah.
As using 90% of your credit.
Yeah. So
So
remember that, the 90% rule, even if you just pay off 10%, it's not enough. And it ends up dinging your credit and you're in big trouble. So just a quick summary here. We're going to get through as much. I got to catch a movie. What time actually is the movie, Mel? And Steven's going to record some more lessons. So for those of you coming in, we're talking about right here how credit card wizard Steven went from 0 to 20 million reward points, including 3 million in lines on 200 and how many cards?
220 credit cards.
220 cards. We're teaching you the 4 pillars here. The 4 pillars are your credit score, improving this continually, fixing what you messed up, not messing it up again. We're talking about credit lines. That's what's next. Free travel. He flew here on a private jet, 20 years old. Let's move on. So what you missed there, first you need to make sure you have at least one credit card. Some of you already have that. We talked about some credit card. If you're a beginner, the Discover It card, especially if you're a student, is a great Steven's recommendation to start with. If you're intermediate, Chase has a rule. They only give you so many cards. You got to get the best cards first, or else they won't give you any more within 24-month period. So the Chase Freedom with 5% money back. Then last but not least, the Chase Sapphire Reserve. The Chase Sapphire Reserve, for you that are more advanced, that's your favorite card. Why is that your favorite card?
So it's $450 annual fee, which isn't that cool.
So it's got a big fee.
$450 annual fee.
Yep.
But you get $300 back on anything related to travel. So I go pay for a $300 hotel stay.
And you get most of it.
You get 300 back, and then on top of that, you get the airport lounge memberships, which cost like $500 to $1,000 depending on the lounge, and you get that inclusive part of that.
Yeah.
You get a big sign-up bonus, which is a 50,000 point sign-up bonus. That's worth $500 cash right there. So I mean that first sign-up bonus pays for your first year, plus gives you $50 extra.
Nice. Then if you have dings on your credit, we talked about this important website that you write down, cfpb.gov. You learn to file a dispute. Okay, that says mediator. And then we talked about if you don't have any major things to mediate, how do you manage your credit to keep the score high? If you got a $4,000 credit card and you spend $3,800, so you're at almost 90% utilization rate, guess what? Keeping it at 90% it's just as bad as basically not paying it. So you want to pay down at least 90%. So in this case, you'd want your balance to be under $400.
Yep.
So if you kept the balance, so the whole key is playing this thing for the long game. All right, let's go to number 2. So let's talking about opening up credit lines.
Sure.
You want to get the maximum amount of credit lines open. Why is that important?
So big credit lines gives you more power, right? Now, if you want to like do some investment with that, I mean, you have that line available. I have three.
You've got three. Is it exactly 3 million?
It's like 3.2, 3.3. I mean, I don't like memorize that.
That's what Steven has. At age 20, starting with, he's a college dropout. Not bad. So I want you to set a goal for yourself, especially those of you coming in the mastermind we're opening up. By the way, we're opening up for the first time today. Those of you going to get the most attention from Steven. Steven's teaching it, and a couple of my other buddies that are masters at credit card and credit scores and opening up are going to be doing it. Okay. For those of you who are coming in, I'm going to set a goal. I want you to open up $10,000 in credit line over this coming year. The next 12 months or less, that's the goal. So let's set this as a goal. Let's say somebody now doesn't have much. So we want to add 10,000 more in credit lines. What do people need to know?
So it goes back to what we talked about in the initial part, which is building a relationship with the bank, right? If you never build a relationship, it's just like, I don't know, like asking to bang on the first date. Like that just doesn't happen, right?
Right.
You need to establish something. Like, so okay, open a credit card. Maybe you have a $500 credit limit, maybe a $1,000 credit limit, and you pay it on time every month for 6 months. Mm-hmm. Then when you go back and you do something called a CLI, credit line increase.
Okay, so you need to understand the goal is a CLI.
Yeah, so you go and once you have like 6 months of relationship with them, then you go to them and say like, look, I've paid on time for 6 months, and you can see on my credit report, and you can show it to other banks that you've done it for 6 months. Then asking for a credit line increase is great, and especially if you follow that 90% rule that we're talking about. If you pay it off 90% or more, just pay it off completely, then it shows that okay, he obviously knows how to manage his credit for 6 months, like no issues at all.
Have you ever seen it take less than 6 months?
So my first card was 500 credit limit, and by the second month I had, I think, like 4,000 or 5,000 credit limit.
So if you do this right, and we're going to talk about some special techniques, it doesn't have to take 6 months.
No,
it took you 1 month or 2 months. Yeah. Depends. Some of you got your credit in a little more complicated situation than others. It's hard to draw absolute rules, but the point is, whether it's 1 month or 6 months, time flies. Get your bank account up, get your credit line up. It's valuable, it's powerful. Okay, so what's next?
So another thing, so I actually had a few like DMs come in, and like they were under 18. Like there were a lot of people asking me like, oh, I'm under 18. How do I build like credit, and how do I build a relationship? So if you're trying to build a relationship and you're under 18, you can't apply legally for a credit card. You can actually get your parents to add you as an authorized user. Now, like, some parents are like, oh, I don't trust Joey to like handle his
right. Can you get like an uncle? Can you get someone else?
Yeah, anybody can add you as a credit and like as an authorized user.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, like, here's a really good negotiation way to talk to your parents or like whoever is doing it. Add me as an authorized user, never give me the card. And in fact, if you're so scared, just as soon as you get the card with my name on it as an authorized user, just cut it in half.
So what you're saying is you can get your parents to do it with no risk.
Yeah, with no risk, and you inherit your parents' good relationship with the bank that they've already built with maybe like 7 or 8 years of history. Now it's like, okay, now you're starting ahead of the game. So the day you turn 18, my parents didn't do this for me, but I wish they did.
His parents didn't do this because some people are gonna be like, oh, you only got that because of your parents.
Yeah, so like, I mean, the whole reason I'm doing this is because my dad wouldn't help me with credit, so I had to go Google it myself. Like, sorry, Dad, I mean, I didn't.
Some of you will be able to do this and some of you won't. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about just how to get on the phone.
Okay.
That's one of the things you're gonna learn. We're gonna give you scripts. For those of you getting this credit mentorship, this mastermind, we're gonna literally give you the scripts that you use because you get on the phone and if you know what to say, how often does it work that you can shortcut it?
So when I first started, like 20%, but now I can guarantee 90% of the time I'm always getting something. I get what I want.
Because you have the script now.
Yeah.
You know what to say.
Yeah. And think of it like a sales call, right? It's kind of like that Wolf of Wall Street stuff, right? Like the more you do it, like the more like in that habit you get, it becomes natural. It's like second nature. You call it, it's just natural. Like it's just talking to another human being if you think about it.
So you need the phone script. It's hard to do the whole thing, but what's a basic let's just show people. Here's what you say. What do you say?
Cool. So you call in, right? And usually they get these calls all day, right? Whatever like analyst, whatever underwriter, they're getting these calls all day. You want to stick out. You want to humanize yourself as much as possible. When you call them and say like, hey, the weather is getting cold, like, hey, where are you located? Or hey, like, how's your Thanksgiving? How's your holiday weekend? Start off the like script like that, because nobody asks them that. People, as soon as you call into these underwriters, it's like, hey, like, why is my credit limit so low? Or hey, why do I get dinged for this? Or hey, why don't you open this for me? It's always like asking and asking and asking. So like the best way to do this is you build the relationship as soon as you enter into the phone call. You enter into the phone call and you say, hey, my name is Steven. How's your day? Like, how was your Thanksgiving? You like spend some time with your family. Where are you located? I'm located in Ohio, or I'm located in California. Oh, cool. Like we're like a time zone apart. Oh, have you been to Ohio? Spend like 1 to 2 minutes. Like they have the time, right? Nobody gives them a breather because they probably just got off of a phone call. Like as soon as like they picked up, they probably just got off the phone like less than 15 seconds ago. Give them a breather. Get them calm. And then as you're moving on, then you can start asking for more and more and say like, all right, cool. So now that you know a little bit more about me, I'm interested in, doing a little credit line increase. Here's the reason for that.
What's a good reason to tell them? What do you like to say?
So you say like, look, you can see that I'm usually spending like, say like my credit line's 500, right? Mm-hmm. And on average I spend 800 a month. So you can see from my from my spending habits, I'm constantly paying like 3 or 4 times a month just so I can have access to more credit.
Right.
So I spend like on average 800, and like so I have a $500 credit limit. You see that I spent $380. I had to pay it off before I could make any more purchases because like I only have a $500 credit limit. Be reasonable with them, and you be reasonable with every call you do. And I mean, as soon as you establish that initial like, hey, how are you? Like, how's your Thanksgiving? How's your whatever? Then I mean, they already are more comfortable with you.
So, by the way, somebody was just asking, how do you get in the program? I haven't even put the link up. I haven't put the button. We'll eventually have a button. But for those of you watching on YouTube, it's in the title. Twitter, it's in the title. Facebook, it's in the title. There's a clickable link to get in the test group. Instagram, it's a pinned comment. So if you want to get in the mentorship, it's a 2-month program. In 60 days, we're going to teach you everything that you need to know. There's multiple people teaching. He's one of the people teaching. I'm teaching a little bit, and I'm bringing in the most badass guys I know. I got some buddies out of San Diego that have their own techniques that are just going to keep expanding what you know. I promise you this, almost the most important thing that you can learn in terms of being an entrepreneur and just for life skills, buying houses, buying cars. Your financial future is predicated on you understanding, and trust me, they should have taught us this in school. They didn't. We can whine about it, we can cry about it, or we can just go out and learn it on our own. You know what I'm saying? So you decide which person you are, and I recommend, that you get in this program. We'll put a link, explain how much it costs, how it works, but basically you're getting insider hacks that I'm telling you are powerful. I've gone through, he was just recording now, and I'm gonna share with you what I've learned, because I've learned a lot of stuff in a slightly different strategy. So, do you think 10,000 is a reasonable goal for people?
I think 10,000 is doable, like especially if like you're applying the things that we're teaching in this course. Like,
yes.
I mean, you could easily achieve this if like best case scenario, you could do this in like 2 months. Worst case scenario, like definitely by like month 8, you'll have that kind of credit.
What if somebody's watching and they're already somewhat advanced? Maybe they're older, they got some freaking, they got some credit cards, they've got a decent history. What would you say?
So the cool part about like the courses that that I've been teaching here is that it's all scalable information. So the stuff I'm teaching you, you can apply it to like whether you're at 10,000, you're at 100,000, or at 1 million, right?
Yeah. So you think some people watching will be able to figure out how to get 1 million?
Yeah. I mean, it all depends on like how much time you want to put into it. If you like truly apply what like we teach here, like you will be able to get to like 1 million, 3 million. Like I've only been doing this for less than a year.
Yeah. And there's 2 strategies here for the credit lines. For some of you, you have the business side and you have the personal side.
Yep.
So you can do this whole strategy for both of those. That's an important thing for you to remember. All right, let's move to the next one. Any questions? We got live. I've seen a lot of questions. Somebody said Capital One is legit. American Express is next. Thanks, Ty, you're the best. Thanks to my 27-year-old son for introducing me to your live feeds. Well, thank you, Patty. CFD.gov. Can you pay one card with the other card?
Yes. So
Pay off the
yeah.
other
So there's something called a balance transfer. You can do that. There's only a set amount, maybe like 10 or 15 cards that let you do a balance transfer without a fee. And so like, yeah, there are cards out there that you can open. For example, say you owe like $5,000 on a credit card that's charging you 23% interest per month and you don't have the money to pay it off. You can transfer that 5,000 debt to a different card that has like some introductory bonus that says, hey, transfer your debt to us and we won't charge you any interest for 24 months.
Yes.
And those cards exist, but it's only a short-term solution. Remember, we're playing the long game.
Somebody said, thank you to this guy for sharing so much valuable information. Can you do this after bankruptcy? Question.
You can.
Yeah.
I've helped people that have gone through bankruptcy, just in my personal circle of friends.
What's different about the strategy if somebody has bankruptcy?
It's honestly just more time and more commitment and more persistency, right? There's something that in the credit card, or at least just in the credit world, we call it hookah, H-U-C-A. Hang
Okay.
up, call again.
Hookah.
H-U-C-A.
Not hookah like smoking. For all you people who do hookah, we're talking about a new kind of hookah, credit hookah.
Yeah.
So maybe we should call the course, change the name. Who wants to smoke some credit hookah? And we turn these cards into little vape cards. That'd be cool. You get out a little card, a little thing pops out the side. Anyway, stupid point that I was making, but anyway, now as stupid as it is, you will never forget. Hookah stands for
Hang up, call again.
So if you're bankrupt or have had bankruptcy in the past, doesn't necessarily mean you're not going to have a future. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have to wait 7 freaking years to get things going again. Yep. Just tuned in. Can you make money with this program? Well, you can open up massive amount of lines. He's opened up 3 million in credit lines. Somebody was asking, this is the fun part, your favorite part, travel. So flights, hotels. Let's talk about it. What do they need to know? I'm gonna let you draw it.
All right, cool.
Because I actually realized I shouldn't be drawing with my handwriting. I should be banned from all drawing.
So I don't think mine's much better though.
Anything's better than mine. It already looks better.
Free travel. That's my favorite one, and that's how I've networked with like hedge fund managers on these jets.
So you do like the Jet Smarter kind of thing?
I do Jet Smarter, and then I'll go to like Ritz-Carlton's, just hang around in the lounge. Like even if I don't have any meetings, I'll just hang in the lounge and I'll meet just like cool people that are like spending $10,000 a night there. I'll strike up a conversation.
Do they realize you're doing it for free?
No, I mean
you should tell them.
Well,
these hedge fund people, let me manage your credit card situation.
It's a good conversation starter.
How many cards is this that you have here? This is just 60 as credit. I thought I had a lot of credit cards. I probably have about 100 credit cards, but I found out Steven has 220.
Yep, in a year.
I'm gonna catch him though. We're working on more.
We got a little friendly competition here.
Somebody said, what does Steven do with $3 million in credit?
That's my business. That's my personal business. And also I have a startup. I have a social media startup right now called Moves. And
so you use it to fund your business?
Yeah, I use it to help fund my business. When we didn't have money, before we did any fundraising, that we were paying bills with that. And now that we have some investors, we have people that are helping us. Now we can stop relying on my credit. But at least it empowered me to at least start up something.
Right.
And most people usually if you have a debit card, then just if you don't have money in the bank, your card's just not going to work. Cool. So we're going to talk about free travel. Common misconception just common confusion topic. When I first started, I had no idea what points were, right? How do you know what the value of a Marriott point is versus a Starwood point versus a Hilton point? There's a site called uscreditcardguide.com. It's basically like a Wikipedia for credit cards. And this is where I do all my research. They'll do historical highs for every credit card. So for example, you look at a Marriott credit card, you'll see that, right now it's at 30,000 points. You may think that's a lot, but then you look into historical high and see 3 months ago, this thing was doing 100,000 sign-up point bonus. So you want to talk about research. And that's one thing that I stressed a lot in the courses that I've been teaching is research.
Yep.
I can tell you the best card today, but in a month it may be the worst credit card.
Right.
And so I'd much rather empower you guys to actually learn for yourself and learn how to do this. So for free travel, there's a lot of different things. It's in combination with getting credit cards, getting the sign-up bonus, getting the points, and then, getting the statuses at each hotel. So like I'm a Platinum Marriott Ritz-Carlton status, I'm a Diamond Hilton, I'm a Delta Diamond member. And what that means is like I can spend very little points and get like the cheapest room or the worst room. Or I can like book the cheapest flight for like 5,000 sky miles out of like my 500,000 sky miles, and then get bumped into first class, always because I have Delta Diamond status, which is like, usually you have to fly like 150,000 miles a year to do that and spend like over 6 figures to get that kind of status. But there's different tricks that we teach in the program. They'll get you Delta Diamond status and Hilton Diamond status and Marriott Platinum, and that's how you get free travel. You basically take the sign-up bonuses and the points that you earn from these credit cards, and you extend them. So one thing I always say.
By the way, let me just say one quick thing. I don't want to interrupt you, but let me read. I want to find the very first person who got in the program, because I see you guys coming in. Looks like it's Blake Dewberry. Blake in Oklahoma. Welcome to the credit card mentorship. Steven's one of the teachers. I'll be teaching. I've got some other badasses that have as much info as Steven has. They're gonna blow you away. Anyway, so let me stop interrupting you. Okay, free travel. People want to know this.
Yep. So free travel. So high level, go get some credit cards. Get travel-based credit cards. So like look at Marriott, look at United, look at Delta. Once you have all of those, what you want to do is start looking at statuses. How do you get gold status? How do you get diamond status? Some credit cards offer that complimentary, and then that's where the like miles come in handy. So like you spend 5,000 and usually only get main cabin. Now you can spend 5,000 sky miles and get bumped into first class because you have that Delta Diamond status, or you have Marriott Gold or Marriott Platinum. So like even sometimes when I do pay with cash, like I'll sometimes pay like $40 for a hotel, end up getting in like the suite that costs like $800 a night.
What's the best card for some free travel? Let's give them 2 badass cards for free flight. I was just saying, some of you are going to get in the program and you're going to get $10,000 in credit line. Some of you are going to use it to repair your credit. Some of you, imagine you get 2 vacations per year. If you could set it up, 2 vacations for you and your girlfriend, husband, wife, boyfriend, whatever, all paid for. The flight's paid for. Maybe you have cash back that's actually paying you money back for the restaurants you're going to. The hotels, nice hotels. You're not staying at, Joe Bumpkin's Roach Motel. You're staying at Hilton. You're at a Hyatt right now?
I'm at Ritz-Carlton.
Ritz-Carlton's. He's 20 years old.
I didn't even know what Ritz-Carlton was a year ago.
You're like me. When I was 20, I never even stayed at a hotel really. Growing up, we didn't go to many hotels. We didn't have a ton of money. So, okay. So what are 2 cards that people should have that have great travel stuff?
So great travel stuff, Chase Sapphire Reserve, but put like a slash or preferred. You can either get a Chase Sapphire Reserve or a preferred. Biggest difference between the reserve and the preferred.
So reserve or the preferred, what's the difference?
So reserve is a $450 annual fee, but they give you $300 in travel credit. Plus they give you like lounge membership. They pay for TSA pre-check and global entry, so no more waiting in TSA lines. Like you literally when I go through, I never take off my shoes. I just carry a backpack, walk right through. With the Sapphire Preferred, you don't really get that.
But does this have a lower fee?
The first year annual fee is actually waived, and then the second year on is only $95 a year. But here's something cool. If you build a good relationship with them, you can call them and ask for a retention offer. So if you put good money and good spend on here and like you never miss a payment, call in. They'll usually say like, here, yeah, we love you as a customer. We'll waive another $95 for next year, for a second year, and then for a third year. I've seen people go for 7 years and never pay an annual fee on this card.
So if you do it right, following the system, you'll be learning. You can possibly go 7 years with no fees because they want you to stay. What's that term that everybody should know? You said they'll give you what, a deferment?
Wait, for the term for what?
You said if you call.
Oh, retention.
Yeah. Sorry, retention.
Yeah. They want to retain you as a customer, right?
So you're basically calling them with the goal of them in giving you a bonus incentive to retain you as a customer, which is waiving these fees.
Yep.
What's some other cards over here? What about some good ones that get you air? People love to, it's so cheap to travel now. If you can get your airline tickets paid for plus first class. You said you only go, and you're using, what are you using for the private jet?
So JetSmart did like a little match with me. They said like if you had 1 million miles or more, which I was like well over that. They said they'll give me like a free membership, so I did that.
So you got a free membership to JetSmarter.
Yep.
Because so sometimes when you have all these points, can you wave them around?
I wave them around.
You're too young to gamble in Vegas, right?
Yeah.
I bet you could wave these. You're only 20, right?
Yep.
When's your birthday?
June.
Okay.
5th.
Some of you, I bet you show them enough points, you're going to get free stuff at the Wynn or whatever.
I've gotten comped at the Palazzo before.
Really?
Yeah, I've gotten comped twice there.
Nice. So JetSmarter, what cards do you like for just regular commercial flights?
So Delta is like my go-to, and if you're
Okay.
a travel hacker for United. But the Delta Gold, they also waive the first year $95. They also waive the annual fee on that. Right now, I think it's like a 35,000 mile sign-up bonus.
Okay. Make sure that's not. Is he scratching it? Okay.
So right now it's like 35,000, but I've seen it go up to 60 and 70,000 miles. And if you know like the value, which we will teach, like the value of one Delta Sky Mile, right?
What is the value right now?
So the value of a Sky Mile right now, if you want a domestic one-way main cabin, you can do it for 7,500 Sky Miles, 7,500 Sky Miles. So
Okay.
if you have 70,000 just from one card, there's 4 Delta cards with the potential of getting up to like 230,000 Sky Miles. So if you max out all your Delta, like if you get all the Delta cards, that's 230,000 miles right there. One way is only 7,500, and if you have status like a diamond status with Delta, you're getting upgraded to first class every time.
Nice. So do you, are there any restrictions on these points? Like you can't fly around Halloween, Christmas,
Nope.
Thanksgiving?
Nope.
They're pretty much, is it hard? Is it like you're on a standby basis for first class?
It's confirmed. You get confirmed. Like
Nice.
Yeah. No.
First class, baby. And I'm gonna tell you this, for those of you who have to go long flights, like LA to New York, I go. Sometimes I'll fly private, which is by far the best. I don't really use JetSmarter, but I usually charter a jet. But that's very expensive. I couldn't do that for most of my life. If I charter a jet, I spoke at Harvard and I had to fly from LA. I chartered a G4, which is insanely fast. We got there in like 4 hours and 15 minutes, but costs like 40 G's. So with this, he's getting it free, and you don't need to fly private. If you can get first class on a lay, the beds where they lay flat, it's a dream. You get there, you lay flat, you're getting there in 4 hours and 4.5 hours, LA to New York. Let's get to this last thing. Then we're gonna come back.
Is our live just going on?
Yeah, we're gonna reset Instagram every 1 hour. Reset. Okay, let's go here to number 3. Or the number 4 was the final thing, which was, let's talk about cash back. I'm gonna let you do this.
So with cashback, there's the simple credit cards, right? There's the ones that like 1.5% cash back. Those are the ones that people generally focus on. But what I realized is that when you look at in the grand scheme of all credit cards, like the point credit cards can also get you cash back as well. So for example, American Express, or say like Amex, has something called MR points. That's called membership rewards points. And generally, they cannot be liquidated into cash. They generally are, you can transfer them into travel miles, you can transfer into hotel points, but you can't convert them to cash directly. And so most people just stop at that. They think, oh, MR, like I don't even know what that is, like too intimidating. I'm just gonna go stick with the companies that give me 1.5% cash back. However, there's cards that earn up to 5x and 6x MR points, and then there's ways. One of them is called a Charles Schwab American Express Platinum card that lets you convert 1 MR point equals to 1.25 cents. So like some of these Amex cards gives you 150,000 MR points. So do 150,000 times 1.25 cents. It's like almost $2,000 right there in cash back. And that's something that most people like disregard. They see points, oh, points, this must be for travel. The cool thing about cashback is that all these points can be somehow converted between one card to another program, converted around until it becomes cash, just cold hard cash sitting in your bank account.
So that's one of the techniques for cashback. We're also going to talk about these gift cards, which we're going to call these the X factor, because Steven was like, Ty, I don't want to share this. I'll show them, but I'm not going to share this right now. Anyone else doing this?
Doing this?
I mean, this whole system applying to Amex primarily.
Yeah, there's other people out there, but there's only a few thousand people that actually like take advantage of this technique right here. One of the many techniques. So there's probably around, I'd say, probably like 2,000 people in the world, maybe not even 2,000, probably like 1,000 people in the world that know about how to convert MR points into cash. Like, how do you convert just like a normal point-based like reward program into cold hard cash sitting in your bank account, a US dollar.
What other cards do MR? People asked. Talking about this right here.
What other cards do membership rewards points? So all of the American Express Platinums do that. American Express Everyday, American Express Everyday Plus. There's like the American Express Gold cards. Any of the American Express cards with a little face in the front, all of those do MR. Like all of those are MR points. The American Express Blue Business Plus card. I was talking with their lawyer. He brought that up. That's a really good card for business owners. You're getting 2x MR points. So if you do that, like most business cards are like, oh, 1.5% cash back. That's so great. This is getting 2 MR points. And then you do this method, 2 times 1.25. You're getting a much higher cash back rate than just 1.5.
So question, I just saw someone on YouTube ask, will this work outside the USA?
So, I mean, I'm not going to like talk about stuff I don't know. I really don't know. I had a DM that said like, oh, like, will this work in Canada? I 100% don't know. And
but can somebody in Canada or another country, they got Visa.
Yep.
Is it that much different? You think the principles basically are going to
The principles are going to be the same, right? There's like, you're going to earn some kind of cash back. You're going to earn some, I'm actually curious. Like, I think I want to go to like Canada, just kind of figure out their system.
So those of you getting in from around the world, you're going to be learning these techniques. Not every single thing will apply, but I guarantee you a lot of this stuff applies.
The overall concept will, and like that.
And you'll be, and what he's teaching you, how to get on the phone with them, the scripts, that'll work for sure. Trust me, it doesn't matter. And Visa's everywhere. Yep. This is a monster company. Visa's $1 trillion, of money trillions running through them. So there's Visa Europe, but when you understand the principles, and the cool thing, if you're not in the US and you get in this, less people are doing it, so it's more likely to work.
That's exactly
so when you get on, he's like, I want to move to Canada to do this. All right, some more questions. Is a job needed to be eligible? What if somebody's not employed?
So that goes back to needing like an initial relationship, right? So if you're a student, that counts as a job, right?
Yes.
So like the credit card companies will give you just because you're enrolled in school.
Yeah. What about secured cards?
Secured cards, those are actually, so say you don't have a parent or like a friend that add you as an authorized user. Say you can't get a student card because you're not a student. Secured credit cards, which is the third ones to kind of get, is what you do is you give them like $400 and they give you $400.
It becomes almost like a debit card.
Yeah, it becomes a debit card.
And what's the best secured card you like?
My first, I got the secured card just for the heck of it. It's Capital One Platinum.
So you can do a secured card, Capital One Platinum.
Yep. And Capital One has a lot, like they're probably one of the few that offer like a variety of secured like credit cards. I think Bank of America does it. I don't like them as much. But at Capital One, the reason I say I like Capital One better is their mobile app is like very simple to use. Like you add in your bank account, you pay like everything. It's Touch ID, everything's clean, everything's cut in there.
Somebody said, what soda is that? Very important question. It's water, but LaCroix. What about Citibank cards?
Citibank is good. So Citibank, there's the American Airlines that's associated with Citi. If you're a business owner or if you just have a normal like Costco membership, Citi just like went up the roof because Amex lost Costco from their portfolio and now Citi owns Costco. So the Costco card and the American Airlines, those are both great. And if you live in LA or Dallas, you can fly on a Boeing 787-900, which is like the Dreamliner, best like domestic like airplane you can fly. And with those miles that you get from a Citi card, you can fly for free on that.
They'll even give you a 747. No, I'm just joking.
How do you do that one?
That's a special technique. It's called.
Is that the level 3?
It's called. You got to know how to fly a 747 Dreamliner, and you have to steal it. Okay. How much income for good credit? The income to credit ratio.
I don't see it as like income to credit unless if you're trying to like maximize your credit line. And even then, I value the relationship more. And then I also value the sustenance of your credit report. So like, don't get hung over like, oh, my credit score is like 702 or something. Care more about like what your credit like looks like. Just ignore the score and just look at like the meat of your credit report. Say like, okay, cool. Like I've had on-time payments. I've had like 6 accounts. All of them have been on-time payments for the past 2 years. I care more about that than whatever your score tells you, like your like what it is.
By the way, congratulations. We just had someone join from the test group from Korea. I have not seen that before. Okay, some more questions. Credit, how can you get it? Here's the goal. I'm challenging you guys from where you are, add $10,000 of credit in the next 2 to 12 months to your credit lines. Use that responsibly, build up a ton of credit, your credit score to go up, number one. Use it to get a lot of cash back. Use it to get fly the world for free. Use it then, of course, to do, you know, this whole thing that he was telling you, the more advanced stuff. For those of you who already have 10 grand and that's no problem, okay, you already got 10, 15, 20 grand, maybe you're a little bit older. Goal is 100,000. Add 100 G's of credit. You can use it for, oh, by the way, I know a shitload of entrepreneurs follow me. All you entrepreneurs, you better get on this, or man, I'm telling you, if you do not have good business credit and you don't have credit lines open, you want to be opening, like I'll try to open, like last month, I think I opened like 800,000 in credit lines, you know, and I'm a little more advanced than some of you, but you can open up, if you just open 10,000, for those of you who are already a little more advanced, if you open up 10,000 new credit lines per month and you do it for a year, you added 120,000. And here's the thing, when you look at your overall credit ratio, the more lines you have open versus what you're using, your credit utilization rate is lower, which they like, and then they want to give you more. That's the whole thing. You know, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, because once you get in a downward spiral, nobody wants to give you credit. They start pulling your credit. I remember a time in my life when I didn't have much money, I didn't know what I was doing, and they would chop my credit cards in half like it was a $2 grand, you know, credit card, and all of a sudden they were like, your credit limit's been lowered. So, because I didn't know what I was doing. So I want you, that's my challenge, the 10 grand or 100 grand challenge. If you already got 100 grand, you need to be adding $1 million. Let's just quick recap for everybody. How much do you have open right now at age 20?
How many credit cards?
Credit line.
I have 3.2 million.
3.2 million he can spend on credit cards. On how many cards?
220.
220. 1 year ago, how much did you have?
0.
20 years old. He can't even go to Vegas and spend this damn stuff. You could have a heyday in Vegas when you got that, you got money. Like, you could be staying at, but you're staying at Ritz-Carlton now. You jetted in on a private jet using JetSmarter. It's kind of like a private jet. It's like a shared private jet thingy. I've done it once. So you're doing that, or you're flying first class. Man, this thing is a game changer. I've launched this. Those of you getting in the test group, you're going to get access to the private Facebook group. You're going to get access to about 10 hours of Steven teaching with screenshot. He got his laptop open going, click this button, then this, go to this credit card first, followed by this. We'll have the scripts in there. Call this company, say these words, read the script to them so that they bump your credit up, all that stuff. Somebody said they have 4 cards, only used 2. Some of you need to use your cards more, because you're going to show people how to use the cards.
Of course.
Because you don't just want to have cards and never use them, because then sometimes they shut them down. Or it's not helping you. You're not getting any points. You're not traveling. You're not getting American Airlines. You're not getting United. You're not getting Delta. You're not getting Hilton. You're not getting credit card stuff back. What else have you gotten besides, you're talking about lounges, Ritz-Carltons. What other perks have you used the cards for?
So like I've gone through like global entry, I go through customs, I go through TSA. Because of my Delta status, they gave me free clear. Like, have you heard of Clear Me?
Yeah.
So basically, like I don't have to have an ID. I just go there, like scan my fingerprints, and just go through the lines, and then you can even cut the pre-check line. So then you just get full priority. Like I can go through.
So you just walk in like a boss. You go, everybody get out of my way.
That's amazing.
My name's Steven. I'm clear. That sounds like a Scientology thing. When you're clear, doesn't that mean like you don't have any aliens in you or something like that? I'm not up to date on my Scientology. Does he have a Santorium black card?
I do.
Don't try to test him. You guys do not test him. Here, I'll cover up a few of the numbers. I got a black card. I got one of these too, but I didn't have one when I was 20. When I was 20, I had like an ATM debit card. And by the way, a lot of you are only using debit cards.
Yep. You don't earn anything on debit cards.
Don't earn anything. You don't build your credit up. You know what I'm saying? 20 with a black card. Some of you got to get with the game. What's his income though? You did it. What was your income when you started?
Zero. I was
Zero.
a broke college student.
Broke college student. He was smart. He went to Stanford, so you're not going to be learning from a dummy. But your dad wouldn't sign the credit cards for you.
Yeah.
So there's not some story that your dad is Bill Gates. Well,
I don't think
adopted. You don't look exactly like Bill Gates, but your dad's not some billionaire that signed for you. Someone said, do you live off your cards? No, you've got a startup.
I do have a startup.
So he has other businesses too. I convinced him to do this. He's doing this for me. And I said, listen, I got, 200 million people a year who watch my stuff. Let's help them too. Because I promise you, man, people, be honest. Everybody just leave a comment. Who here has over 750 credit? Say, actually, if you know and you're willing to say, leave a comment with what's your number. Let's get a little survey. The lowest you can have is what, 480 or 420 or something, 450?
The lowest I've seen was like 460.
I won't say his name, but one of my friends had the lowest. He sent me a screenshot. He goes, do you know I have the lowest credit score humanly possible? This dude is the most irresponsible friend I have. Okay, what do we got? 470. You almost beat him. We got 739.
780.
No credit. You can't have no credit, really. I mean, you probably have. What do you usually start out at? If you're like,
I think like between 580 to 60.
yeah, you'll start like 556. Now, if you're 2 years old, you don't probably have much credit. Somebody said they have 900, which I know you're not on planet Earth. Okay, somebody said my mom charged 20 grand on a card of mine. Going back to what he's teaching you, that should be disputable.
It's disputable.
If it's not a code, a card that both of you had given each other authorization.
Yeah.
So we talked about websites you can get the government to back you up. And also specific scripts will have on how to call. You can call directly to credit card companies and dispute.
Yep.
You can be like, I don't even like my mom. No, don't say that. 420 somebody has. I don't know that you could have 420. Maybe you're talking about smoking weed. Nicaragua Missile said the lowest 450. Hey, man, let's get your credit up. Get in the group. Let's go. If you don't have $200 to get in, go ask your parents for it. Go ask a friend. Part of building credit is having the ability to talk to people and then pay them back. I'm stuck at 610. How do I get to 700? You got to go back. You might have come late. Those of you who came late missed all kinds of stuff. We talked about that here. CFPB. Some of you need to bookmark that website. Claudia Rochon has a 690. Jalen Brown has a 510. Maricela Soria has an 829. Bactonenio Architola. Woo, that is a hard name to say. How'd you get through kindergarten? I had a complicated name. Bactonenio A. Architola has a credit of 605. What credit monitoring system do you like? Do you like Credit Karma?
I use Credit Karma. It's free. It's a soft inquiry. Doesn't hurt your score. That's a common misconception. Checking your own credit will not hurt your score. But creditkarma.com pulls your TransUnion, Equifax, and then Experian.com will actually give you your free credit report. So Experian will give you your Experian for free.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna jet out of here in a second. Somebody said it does go below 500. Yeah, it does go by Carmen. That's not what I said. I said it doesn't start below 500. You can get it all the way down. If that's your goal, you can feel free to get it down to as low as possible. I can't do anything. I have a judgment on my credit. So some of you have judgments. Some of you will have liens. There's ways to work on those. I one time sometimes they're wrong.
Yeah.
The other day I had my credit got dinged. All of a sudden, like my credit's like over 750 to 800. All of a sudden it dropped like 80, one of them. And it was for some company was sending bills to the wrong house I haven't lived in 3 years. And it was for something I didn't even know. It was a low amount, like $100. So I called them up and they removed it and it put my credit right back up. You can fight. And they're not used to people fighting. And when you know how to fight, whether it's calling or letters, following the script you guys are about to get, you can fix it. You can even get the government involved in the US, and most countries have this too outside the US.
Yep.
All right, so there's a ton of more questions. How do you maintain that many cars at once with the fees?
So with the fees, honestly, like out of my 220, I only have about 25 with fees that I actively manage. And the best thing to do is literally just set a calendar reminder a year from when you get the card and set it for maybe like 2 weeks before. And when that time comes, go call them and ask for a retention offer. Say like, look, I've been a customer for you for a year.
Retention, we're gonna teach you the retention offer so that they would wanna keep you and they cancel the fee.
Yep.
People are asking that all over. That's a common question. There's a saying that I like. If you're playing poker and after 30 minutes you don't know who the sucker in the room is, you're the sucker. And right now the financial system usually makes you the sucker. If you do it right, you won't be the sucker. I think we're gonna wrap it up now. My man, thank you.
My boy.
Talk to you guys soon. And yeah, we're out.